Hello and welcome. Today, you will learn English through another motivational story. This is episode 2 of David's journey. In the last episode, David graduated from high school and faced rejection after his first job interview. But his journey is only beginning. Listen carefully and enjoy the story. The rejection email still hurt David. For several days, he could not stop thinking about it. Whenever he opened his phone, he remembered the message. "We have chosen another candidate." Those words repeated in his mind again and again. At night, David lay awake in bed. He stared at the ceiling. He wondered if he was wasting his time. Maybe he was not smart enough. Maybe he was not talented enough. Maybe success belonged to other people. People with money. People with connections. People with experience. Not people like him. The next morning, David woke up later than usual. He felt tired, unmotivated. His mother noticed immediately. "You did not wake up early today," she said gently. David forced a small smile. "I was just tired." But his mother understood the truth. She knew rejection had affected him deeply. Before leaving for work, she placed her hand on his shoulder. "Do not let one disappointment decide your future." Then she left. David sat quietly at the kitchen table. Her words stayed in his mind. That afternoon, David walked through town again. But this time, things felt different. The streets looked dull. The buildings looked old. Even the people seemed tired. For the first time, David noticed how many adults around him had given up on their dreams. Some complained constantly. Some blamed life for their problems. Others simply accepted unhappiness. David became afraid, not afraid of failure, afraid of becoming someone who stopped trying. As he walked, he passed a small bookstore. He normally ignored it. But today, something made him stop. In the front window, he saw a sign, "Second-hand books, very cheap." David entered slowly. The store smelled of old paper and coffee. Quiet music played softly in the background. An elderly man stood behind the counter, reading a newspaper. He smiled at David. "Looking for something special?" the man asked. David shrugged. "I don't know." The old man nodded. Sometimes people find what they need when they stop searching too hard. David did not fully understand the sentence, but somehow it stayed with him. David walked between the shelves. One book caught his attention. The title read, "The Power of Persistence." He opened the book randomly. His eyes landed on a sentence. "Successful people fail many times. The difference is that they continue." David read the sentence again, slowly. Continue. Such a simple word. But maybe that was the secret. Not perfection. Not luck. Not talent alone. Just continuing. David bought the book with the little money he had. That night, he read for hours. The book shared stories about people who failed repeatedly before succeeding. Business owners, athletes, writers, inventors. Many had experienced rejection worse than his. Yet they continued moving forward. For the first time in days, David felt hope again. Maybe his story was not over. Maybe it had barely started. The next morning, David returned to his old routine. He woke up early. He made his bed. He exercised outside for 20 minutes. Then he sat with his notebook. At the top of a fresh page, he wrote, "Things I can improve." Underneath, he wrote, "Communication, confidence, computer skills, interview practice." David finally understood something important. Instead of complaining about rejection, he needed to grow stronger. Failure could either destroy him or teach him. The choice was his. Over the next few weeks, David became more disciplined. Every morning, he visited the public library. He watched free educational videos online. He practiced typing on old computers. He learned how to speak more clearly. Sometimes, he practiced interview questions alone in his room. At first, it felt embarrassing. But slowly, his confidence improved. Not because life became easier, because he became stronger. One afternoon, David met his old school friend, Marcus. Marcus looked relaxed and carefree. "What are you doing these days?" Marcus asked. "Looking for work and trying to improve myself," David answered. Marcus laughed lightly. "You worry too much. Life is short. Just enjoy yourself." David forced a smile. But deep inside, he knew something. He did not want an average life. He wanted growth. He wanted purpose. He wanted to change his family's future. That dream mattered more to him than temporary comfort. Days later, David saw another job opportunity. A small restaurant needed a delivery assistant. The pay was low. The work looked difficult. Part of David wanted to ignore it. Another part whispered, "Try again." David submitted his application. 2 days later, the restaurant manager called him for an interview. This time, David prepared differently. Before the interview, he practiced speaking slowly and confidently. He ironed his clothes carefully. He arrived 30 minutes early. As he sat outside the office, nervous thoughts filled his mind. But then he remembered the sentence from the book. "The difference is that they continue." The manager finally called him inside. The interview began. At first, David felt nervous. His hands trembled slightly, but after a few minutes, he relaxed. He answered carefully. He maintained eye contact. He listened closely. When the interview ended, the manager nodded. "You seem hardworking," he said. David left the restaurant feeling hopeful again. Not overly confident, but hopeful. 3 days passed. Then 4. Then 5. No phone call came. David checked his phone constantly. Every vibration made his heart race. Finally, one evening, the restaurant called. David answered immediately. "Hello?" The manager's voice sounded calm. "I'm sorry, David. We chose someone with more experience." For a moment, David said nothing. The rejection hurt again, but something was different this time. The pain was still there, yet it no longer destroyed him completely, because deep inside, he knew he was improving. That night, David sat outside beneath the stars. The cool wind moved through the trees. He remembered the promise he made to himself after graduation. "I will become successful." At 18 years old, he still had nothing. No job, no money, no success, only dreams, only effort, only determination. But maybe that was enough for now. Maybe success did not begin when life changed. Maybe success began the moment a person refused to quit. David looked up at the night sky and smiled slightly. Tomorrow, he would wake up early again. Tomorrow, he would continue learning again. Tomorrow, he would continue trying again. Because his story was far from over. And somewhere ahead of him, a new opportunity was waiting.